A milestone is one of a series of numbered markers placed along a road or boundary at set intervals. Memorial Hospital of Taylor County, now known as Memorial Health Center, an Aspirus partner, has had its share of milestones too.
In November of 1957, we formed a corporation, and the board of directors was Ray Scott, Vince Ackert, Father Art Weber, Dr. Walter Meyer, and myself.
Milestones tell us where we have been and that we are headed in the right direction.
Well, the original board members are, of course, the ones who that need to be remembered. They were all instrumental in making this to be the start in this institution.
The Medford community marks a major milestone this year. 50 years ago in 1962, a group of doctors, businessmen, civic leaders, and concerned residents from all walks of life joined together to celebrate the opening of a new hospital in Taylor County.
As the population grew and as the industries grew in the community, which fortunately they did, you had a lot of people coming into the community that had come from other areas that expected a better facility than we had.
From its beginning, it was a community-owned facility dedicated to serving the people throughout the surrounding area.
The board was forward-looking, as the whole city of Medford has always been. It's been a community that looks forward to expansion and growth.
They wanted a hospital. The only way they could go out and work for it.
Well, when I look back at those challenges, it seems as though there weren't too many because everybody was willing to work, willing to give. And if that's the case, things move forward.
The sense of community ownership and pride continues to this day as Memorial Health Center has grown from its roots as a rural hospital to its role as a regional healthcare provider.
The growth and the expansion of Memorial Health Center as to what we have today is almost unbelievable from where we were. But that was due largely to great foresight right from the very beginning to step forward and do this and begin to build the facilities that would attract medical people here.
Giving is something a volunteer organization is all too familiar with. Then known as the Memorial Hospital Auxiliary, volunteers began before the doors of the facility were even open. The original auxiliary group included 67 members, which was more than the number of paid hospital staff members at the time.
Agnes Brace was a superintendent of schools in the district here, and she was one of the people that started the auxiliary.
In 1960-61, Medford didn't have a lot of the things they have now, and some doctors were willing to come, but their wives weren't. And as you have more things in a community that people like, recruiting becomes easier.
The wives of the men that supported it started the auxiliary. They were wonderful examples.
Fundraising was the first order of business, and the entire Medford community and surrounding areas were involved.
We had to figure out how to raise the money and how to raise it and how much we could raise. And at that time there was a federal program where you borrowed money. It was called Hill-Burton.
They went to the businesses, and they also went to all the outlying areas. They went to some of the chairmen of the townships just to form a board, to form a nucleus.
That was the start. But when you think of these people just going around knocking on doors saying, we need a hospital.
It was a real aggressive thing when they finally decided to do this. And we really desperately needed a hospital at that time.
Because the need was so great, that turned out to be a great success. The Medford community really jumped in with both feet, so to speak, and it was kind of an exciting time.
So we were in the process of expanding health care to meet the needs of this community and surrounding area.
Well, when you get the entire community involved in raising money, then they're really interested in what happens to their money.
The momentum for the new hospital moved from a church-connected effort to a nonprofit organization as the 1946 Hill-Burton Act provided a mechanism for developing hospitals in places like Taylor County. While the stimulus program helped, it required a financial commitment from the entire community to finish the project.
Bringing doctors to the community was always a challenge because we are a small community. Those that were willing to live in the rural area were few and hard to find.
My job was to get the newspapers and see if anybody was moving into Medford with nursing experience or nursing, education.
Some people from the community and those of us who were on the board also worked in going out actually and visiting doctors and bringing them up to be interviewed and give them an opportunity to see our institution.
The community's support and acceptance of the new facility was exceptional. In the first year alone, the hospital admitted 1,718 patients, saw 290 babies born, and hosted 343 surgeries.
It was a different time from what it is today. My father was a patient at the hospital. Children were not able to visit their family members or any of the patients that were in the hospital. Our mother did not drive. We had to take our bicycles and come to visit Dad. The ground in front of room 150 was high enough that we were able to have conversations through the window.
The community was growing, the city was growing, it was good industry here and good schools, and we were building the community. And one of the main backbone pieces of a good community is healthcare.
I was very ill when I was 10 years old, and I ran a tremendous temperature, and I just kept getting worse and worse, and my temperature went to 105, and we lived on a farm. My dad went into the hospital at night and got a hold of Dr. Ray and told him how ill I was, and he gave me sulfanilamide, which was brand new at that time. We still didn't know for sure what I had. A number of years later, after I was married, I went through all these tests, and he came in one morning and he said, "Billy, when did you have rheumatic fever?" And I said, "Well, I never knew for sure if I had it or not." He said, "You definitely did." Rheumatic fever is treated very differently today, but at that time they didn't know what it was. And I was 10 years old. You wonder why I'm interested in the hospital, the doctors, the facilities. I've lived it.
Brick by brick, Memorial Health Center's leadership laid a solid foundation for a strong future. Much of the credit of the facility's success and growth through this period is due to the strong leadership of President-CEO Eugene Arnett.
We hired Eugene Arnett as the first manager. Hired him, I think, in May of 1961. His history shows he stayed with us for about 35 years, which was a real plus, if you can keep somebody in that job who knows the community and is interested in the community, it works pretty well.
Well, Eugene Arnett, of course, was the backbone. He was always the leader in coming up with suggestions of what should be done and what we need to do.
I do give Gene Arnett a lot of credit for our hospital being where it is today. He was a very progressive person.
He was a very important person in building the hospital, overseeing the hospital.
He was president of the American Hospital Association.
And he was the first, and up to this time, I believe, the only president of the American Hospital Association from a small hospital.
And he could never have had it if it wouldn't have been for the board seeing there were advantages, to it.
I would have to credit him with the fact that this hospital really exists, because had it not been for his foresight and his commitment, it would not be here.
He always looked for a new way of doing things.
The more you share with other people, the more you find out what's good for your own institution and how to move it ahead.
Among other enhancements and new healthcare services, a 68-bed nursing home, Memorial Nursing and Rehab Center, was built onto the southwest end of the hospital in 1978. Just 30 days after opening, it was filled to capacity. Earlier that same year, Dr. Walter Meyer, one of the founding doctors, delivered his 5,000th baby.
When I think of all the people that are treated here and the steps that have been taken since my experiences, it's wonderful.
Development needs many things, and to attract professionals to a community, you need good schools, recreation facilities, things that people who want to choose Medford as their home like to see. Through the years of industrial development, we got Tombstone Pizza, Marathon Cheese, Phillips Plastic, and together with that you had a lot of job opportunities for Medford. So they all work together, and Medford has made great strides to make it an enjoyable place to live and work. You see, the hospital is labeled one of the best places to work.
I've been employed with Memorial Health Center for about 39 years. I started when I was in high school. My first position was a nutrition aide in the dietary department. From there, I went to the finance area and was in the data processing area, which was very different than what it would be now. And in the late 80s, I moved to the human resource department, which is where I am currently.
We were looking for an area that was pretty much crime-free, which I think Medford is. We've got a wonderful school system here in Medford, and the community just is a very friendly community. As you come into town, you can tell right away that this community is a very welcoming community and accepts outsiders well, and not all communities do that. We found this to be very true with Medford.
Over the next decade, opportunities continued to present themselves, but not without the hard work and dedication of the hospital board, administration, staff, and surrounding community.
When it was time that I needed to have surgery, I remember that I wanted to come to Memorial Health Center because they're a part of my family, and I feel that my family is going to look out for me and take care of me.
When you have had those situations in your own family, you realize the importance of the hospital and the staff, and you appreciate them, and you thank God that they're there.
You think of this sleepy little community? No, it's not. I mean, there's been a lot of good things that have happened in this town and been brought forward.
Styles change with the times, and it's not to say that one is better than the other. It's just different, and I think that sometimes describes what we've seen over the years at Memorial Health Center. Really, it's just the differences in the way we did things, let's say 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, than we do today. Greg Roroff had a huge role in this too. He did a lot of really positive things in the community. Did a lot of positive things at Memorial Health Center. So that's part of that history.
When people come into Medford from out of the area, no matter where they come from, I think they are very surprised to see a population of Medford having the facility we do here. We are fortunate to have the diversity that we do right here in Medford.
The organization has changed in terms of the services that are offered. I mean, back in 1962, when Memorial Health Center began its life as an organization, we were strictly a hospital-based organization. Over the years, we've added long-term care services. We've also added assisted living programs. Most recently, 10 years ago, we built our Country Gardens facility, which is a 28-unit, what we call a residential care apartment complex. So we really are expanding our senior services as well as our acute care services.
When it comes to delivering exceptional health care, size doesn't matter, quality does. Memorial Health Center has evolved beyond just a rural hospital to a network of clinics in Medford, Rib Lake, Gilman, Prentice, and Phillips. As Memorial Health Center added satellite clinics to the surrounding areas, their reputation of being an excellent healthcare provider added convenience to its long list of accolades.
Over the years, our business has changed, and initially the focus was healthcare services in the Medford area only. But because of population growth, other circumstances, we've actually gone beyond the borders of Taylor County. We have satellite clinics now up in Price County, up in Phillips, as well as Prentice. We're also located in Rib Lake, northeastern Taylor County, and then on the very far western side of Taylor County in the small community of Gilman.
It's very important to have the hospital part of our community. It's just beneficial to have the friendly hospital staff here.
People are more well versed in what's available and what should be available for their own health and their children's health. They want their health care to be the best that it is.
You need a hospital to get doctors, and to get doctors and other professionals, you need a lot of things in the community.
Well, I think the growth of the community is also very much dependent upon the services available in that community.
And we've been fortunate over the years to be able to attract quality talent to our area. And as a result of seeing all our offerings and our services that are available, many people have elected to stay on board with us and be part of our team and be part of our family here in Medford.
In early 1990, Memorial Hospital and the Medford Clinic affiliated with the Community Health Center in Wausau, the parent organization of the Wausau Hospital Center. The affiliation strengthened and expanded Memorial Hospital's health care capabilities by providing access to more specialists, newer technology, cost-effective purchasing, and more active physician recruitment.
And what happens with a partnership, you can then share major equipment that you can't afford on your own. It was really important to get these specialists to come to Medford, so the Medford people didn't have to drive to Wausau or Marshfield. And so that partnership with Wausau had many, many pluses, and the specialist was a big part of that.
When I think of the facility we had, compared to what we have now and what we've done, and I'm just so grateful for all the services we have.
Well, I think you gotta listen to everybody. People come in with ideas, you can't dismiss them at a chance. You gotta step out there and pick out the ones that are going to work.
6 years following their affiliation with Community Health Center, now known as Aspirus, Memorial Hospital in Medford, Good Samaritan Health Center in Merrill, Langlade Memorial Hospital in Antigo, and Wausau Hospital created the Wisconsin Valley Health Network, a nonprofit healthcare corporation.
The Wisconsin Valley Health Network started in the mid-90s really to look at relationship building within the region. It was more on expanding the relationships that Aspirus had at that time with regional providers.
Years back, technology was very expensive. Through this consortium that we had with the Wisconsin Valley Health Network, we were able to buy transportable equipment used at several different hospitals.
So I think that did have a real impact on us as an organization back in the 1990s. And it was certainly a preamble for, again, more of a formal relationship going forward. Like everything else, there's change involved with the network, and today it's, again, more of a purchasing cooperative between its members than it was back in 1996.
The original board wanted to maintain a voice regarding what kind of healthcare services would be provided to their families and neighbors, but they also knew that for their hospital to remain viable in Medford, now and into the future, a close alliance with a larger healthcare system was required. So, in early 2001, Memorial Hospital established an even closer strategic and financial partnership with Aspirus.
We knew that if we're going to survive, we're going to have to affiliate with a larger institution. That affiliation with Wausau has really brought top quality health care to Medford.
The people here need to have those services available. And we're very fortunate today to have the affiliation that we do with Aspirus. That was a big step when that took place.
We need to be thankful for that we have that very well good working relationship.
With respect to the technology side of our business, Aspirus has given us the opportunity really to better understand what the technology is available in our industry. And for a organization our size to have that type of technology available for our patients is certainly amazing.
From a patient care standpoint, I believe that we have always tried to care the best we could for the patients, and going out of our way to try to make them feel as if they're part of our family and support them.
You know, I think there's a delicate balance when you look at the management of Memorial Health Center. You know, certainly, you know, we're there for our patients. That's our number one priority, is the safety and care of our patients. But at the same time, we have to run the organization as a business as well. We still have to keep the lights on. We've got to pay our payroll. So that being said, it is a real delicate balancing act in order to keep things moving forward and even growing, because you want to grow the business and you want to have assets that you can put aside so you can look at future projects to continue to meet the needs of our communities as they grow and as they prosper.
To have patient care, of course, you need to have a mass of patients to afford new equipment. And as this has evolved, of course, more patients have decided to have their health services taken care of here. And of course, the more they do, the more you can afford sophisticated equipment to supply the need. So one feeds on the other. If the people come here, we can afford the equipment.
When Memorial Health Center opened its doors in March of 1962, area communities saw the fulfillment of their dream and a reward for their commitment, a hospital built to service their families. Today, that dream and those rewards continue. Through its partnership with Aspirus, it is able to provide world-class medical treatment and care to the people of Taylor County and the surrounding region.
The 50th anniversary is going to be an exciting time for Memorial Health Center. Just to think back and about all of the various things that have happened over those 50 years. And we can be very proud Memorial Health Center is here in Medford.
Well, that is really one of the other main things that makes the hospital what it is today, is the support from the community.
When you think of them going out knocking on doors saying, "We want a hospital, don't you want a hospital?" Everything that they did was for the good of the community. They were very, very civic-minded people.
Well, I think it's wonderful. At my age, I use it frequently. In fact, too often, but I think it's a tremendous asset to the community, because if you don't have to go out of town, it's a lot less expensive and people are happier with their community.
You know, to have the abilities to do this here, to have the equipment to do these things here, that's such a progression for Medford, and it's, you know, I'm so proud of it. I'm just so proud to see these things being done here.
I can honestly say that I'm very, very proud of Memorial Health Center in what it represents today. You know, not only do we provide, in my opinion, exceptional patient care in all the areas that we offer services. We have a wonderful staff. We have the best staff, in my opinion. And I've had the honor of working with many staffs over my career, and I'll tell you, I think clearly this is probably the most engaged, committed, dedicated staff I've ever been part of. And I'm honored to be part of that staff. This community is dedicated. I think they understand what they have here in terms of services, and they appreciate the services that are available, and they're very supportive of our organization, and that helps all of our jobs at Memorial Health Center immensely, is having that community support, because not every hospital, not every healthcare system has that support from their community. It makes a big difference.
5 decades from now, when future generations reflect back on the history of Memorial Health Center, they will see choices made and leadership taken. They will see innovation in the face of challenges and a drive toward excellence and quality. This prediction can be made with confidence, because looking back at the first 50 years of Memorial Health Center's history, there is a proven track record of the community rising to face challenges and continue to move forward. Until that day, 50 years from now, when our community's continued support and commitment is stronger than ever, All of us at Memorial Health Center would just like to say, thank you.